Hi and a warm welcome to all of you. This is Ratos Group News, where we highlight bits and pieces of what's going on in the Ratos family. My name is Josefin Uppling and I'm the head of communication and sustainability here at Ratos, and I will also be your host today. Today we actually have a really packed program. We will have comments from the Ratos president and CEO Jonas Wiström. He will talk about the earnings for the fourth and last quarter of 2021, and he will also give us some reflections about the full year 2021. It was a demanding year indeed, in terms of, all of us was affected by the COVID pandemic, both in our everyday life, but we also had a lot of effects on our businesses here at Ratos. But nevertheless, many of the Ratos companies, they were able to perform extraordinary results, and Jonas Wiström, he will guide us through the development. We will also have a look at some very exciting acquisitions made in the second half of 2021, both made by Ratos and by KVD Bil. Precis Infra, our newest company into the Ratos family, joined us in November, and KVD Bil acquired Forsbergs Fritidscenter during the summer. We will have comments from my colleague Christian Johansson Gebauer, who is the president of our business area Construction and Services. He will, together with our newest CEO who has joined the Ratos family, Eivind Iden, who is the CEO of Precis Infra, give us some comments and insights in the newest company in the family, Precis Infra. Then we will talk to Anders Lettengren, who is the president of our business area Consumer. He will, together with Lars Nyqvist, who is the CEO of KVD Bil, talk a bit about the acquisition of Forsbergs Fritidscenter. A lot of names and titles, but nevertheless, we are also going to have some highlights from our other companies in our section for breaking news. But as promised, let's start with Jonas Wiström.
Hej!
Hej!
Hallå! Här var det riggat och klart. Hi Jonas, how are you today?
I'm great actually. It's a great day for Ratos, I think. We released a very strong report.
We did indeed, and we can't wait for you to tell us more about this. So we're going to start off with the full year of 2021, and then we're going to have a look, of course, at the last quarter of 2021 as well. Hence, we are going to talk about the earnings. But start off with the year 2021. What happened in Ratos?
Actually, I think 2021 is the most important year so far, at least during my time with Ratos. We finalized our turnaround. Those years are gone. Now we're in the growth mode. And we actually increased our EBITDA with 23% during the year and 15% in the quarter. And you know what times we're living in with all the challenges that has come more or less as effects of the COVID.
Well, I totally understand that you are happy today. We have obviously a lot to be proud of. But is there something in this year that you would like to put some extra light on?
The main reason for the success we're showing is, of course, all the fantastic work efforts that has been made in all our companies. But maybe I should mention that this year we transformed ourselves from an investment company to a business group. And this has in itself contributed to even better results. The central financing, the fact that we nowadays can deduct earlier losses from our result, has made the earnings per share to really grow even more than the EBITDA growth. And I think this is extremely important because this is fundamental. Earnings per share in the long run is what wins. Well, now we are in a period when you have compounders, some of them even dilute their shareholders, and the market is a little bit crazy about just EBITDA growth, about just acquisitions. But we are a long-term company. We work with fundamenta as a base. So I'm very proud, actually.
Okay, and talking about the business, we have 3 business areas, right?
Yeah.
Should we remind the audience about our 3 business areas?
Yeah. In alphabetic order, it's consumer and services, it's construction and services, and it's consumer and it's industry.
Yeah, and how was the year if we look into the business areas?
Construction and services, able, strong development in everything basically, including the order backlog. I also think the fact that now, if you look at the order backlog in Aibel, 64% is actually green. It's offshore wind, it's electrification, and what they do actually is substantial. I mean, Aibel is a big company, and you know what? Our team, all-time high results, all-time high order book, speed, all-time high results, acquisition. We have, what do we have more?
We have our construction companies, Hent.
Yeah, Hent and Vestia. I mean, I think Hent has stabilized its business. Vestia had an enormous EBITDA growth, revenue growth. But the thing that I think is most important for the future is the fact that Hent and Vestia created a new company in Sweden, which will be focusing on just partnering, the business model, you know, that we believe has the future. This is the business model that we believe will gain market share and get happier clients and better profitability also for ourselves. And I think it's very, very interesting, and it's going to be exciting to see how that is will develop. And last but not least, I mean, in November, we come together with Precis. We acquired 75% of the shares in Precis Infra in Norway. And I think this is a very interesting platform for growth in the infrastructure services sector.
We're actually going to meet the CEO of Precis Infra later in the show. So
looking forward
great.
To that. Yeah, say hi to Eivind.
Will do.
He's a great guy.
Will do. Let's move on to the next business area.
Yeah.
Which one?
That is consumer. I know them all.
Very good indeed.
Well, fantastic year for consumer. I mean, Plantasjen, all-time high, record high, whatever you measure. I think what is maybe even more important is that they've actually gained market shares substantially, actually, last 2 years. So it's not just the corona boost, and there is so much underlying details or in everything from logistics to what kind of products do you sell, OPEX efficiency, and so on. So it's going to be very interesting to follow Plantasjen going forward. Oase, record high, all-time high. Very strong order book coming into 22, so a super year there. KVD actually made a substantial acquisition during the year with Forsbergs.
Actually going to meet the CEO of Forsbergs also later in the show.
That's fantastic. The acquisition of Forsbergs has, of course, improved the results. So the EBITDA development is great over the year for KVD. In the fourth quarter, Forsbergs, it's a seasonal quarter where they lose money, basically. So, but the yearly results are very good.
Okay, but last but definitely not least, it's time for industry.
Industry. Well, we have record high results here as well.
And what about the deal?
A great year for LEDiL, Josephine. All-time high EBITDA, all-time high sales. And this in a complex world with freight from China, etc. The new organization that stays much closer to their clients than before is one of the reasons, I think. But a great year.
I mentioned it in the beginning, but it's worth repeating. HL Display was the first company that went out on their growth journey through acquisitions. Why were they first? They had a profitability level, they had the stability in structure and processes, and they had a market-leading position. So I'm not going to talk about all the acquisitions now. They made 3 this year. They have a pipeline that is strong, but they did a record year. I'd like to mention TFS, that really are through the turnaround phase, improved their profit roughly 60% during the last year. I mean, TFS has been the company, I think, hardest hit by the COVID. I mean, they can't do their clinical trials in the hospitals when there is a lot of patients that really needs treatment. So I think the team in TFS with Bassam at the helm has done a fantastic year. I think that Diab has done a good work and good performance also this year. We must remember that Diab was struck of two things. The wind market went down substantially, especially in China. But Diab was not only the wind market, it's also a shift in materials, in core materials, that they actually initiated in 18. So two things coming together, results going down. Now they take measures that will reduce cost, etc. And the wind market will be back. Not sure that it will be this year, but I mean, look around. Of course, we will have more wind.
Of course we will.
So are you happy with this?
Yeah, I think we got it.
Great.
Thank you. Jonas Wiström, President and CEO of Ratos, many thanks. Now it's time for the breaking news section. Starting up with Speed Group. Speed Group reduced its carbon footprint by 40% in 2021 compared with the preceding year. This means the company is ahead of schedule in its ambition to be carbon neutral by 2025. One factor that contributed to this reduction in emission is that Speed Group has divested a number of energy inefficient properties and optimized the warehouse space in the rest of its portfolio. Emission from fossil fuels have also declined as the company's vehicle fleet has transitioned to electric vehicles. In the middle of December 2021, Ratos communicated that it will put its Swedish construction operations in a new company called SSEA, Svensk Samverkansentreprenad Aktiebolag. Ratos has established this company with the ambition of becoming Sweden's leading construction group in partnering and collaboration contracts. The Ratos company Vestia Construction Group and hence Swedish operations will be part of the group. The goal is 555, meaning 5 billion Swedish crowns in sales within 5 years with an EBITDA margin of 5%. As a part of the successful ongoing rollout journey in our company HL Display, they acquired the company Display Italia last year. The acquisition will strengthen HL Display's customer base and position it as a leader supplier for in-store merchandising and communication solutions to grocery retailers in Europe. Display Italia, which will be named HL Italia in the business group, is based in the north of Italy. It has built a strong position in Italian retail, catering both to grocery retail, pharmacies and branded suppliers. We will actually talk a bit more about the rollout journey in HL in the next episode of Ratos Group News. Now it's time to give you some flavor on our latest acquisitions. During 2021, we really set sails on our growth journey at Ratos. We did some really important acquisitions, both bolt-ons to Ratos and add-ons to, for example, KVD. So, I am talking to Anders Slettengren, who is the president of our business area Consumer, Lars Nyqvist, who is the CEO of KVD, and Jonas Karlsson, who is the CEO of Forsbergs Fritidscenter. I would like to start to say hi to you. How are you today?
Hi, good, thank you. Good, thank you.
Well, I think we should start off with you, Anders. Couldn't you please give us some flavor on the business area Consumer?
Sure, Josephine, I'm glad to do that. Well, in general, we want companies that provide value-added products and services that makes life better and easier for consumers. I would say that all of our companies are or have the ambition to become market leaders, and they benefit from underlying strong trends like the outdoor trend, the green living trend, or like in KVD's case, the mobility trend.
Okay, and how is, and maybe this is to smash an open door, but how is Forsbergs Fritidscenter a good fit into this mix?
Well, I would say that the acquisition of Forsbergs Fritidscenter as the leading reseller of caravans and camper vans is a great complement to KVD's current offering. It has a strong commercial rationale with both harder OpExes synergies that we really like, and also, of course, additional synergies within sales and marketing that I guess that Lars and Jonas will elaborate on. Moreover, we believe that the acquisition was made at an attractive multiple of EV/EBITDA 5.6.
So over to you, Lars, CEO of KVD. Couldn't you give us the elevator pitch about KVD?
Well, yes, of course, Josephine. KVD is a company that is in mobility, and that is basically fulfilling people's transportation needs. And we are in that area selling a lot of cars in our company, KVD Cars. So we sell about 26,000 used cars every year. That makes us number 2 in Sweden, actually.
Yeah, and I know that you, like Ratos, are looking at many companies to see how we can find add-on acquisitions, for example. What made Forsbergs interesting in your eyes?
2 areas. Forsbergs is also a mobility company. I mean, and that is fulfilling the need for vacation and recreation, basically, whereas we are doing more for transportation in a sense. But the customer groups are overlapping, and one of the big strengths of KVD is that we actually reach all the car owners in Sweden, and we have a member database of about 800,000. So it's huge synergies when we start talking digitally with all these people about caravans and also of Jonas' customer base. We speak in cars, so we have a very large synergy in marketing and sales here.
Yeah, and over to you then, Jonas. Last but definitely not least, starting, I would like to say welcome to the Ratos family. How does it feel?
Thank you, Josephine. I must say it feels safe and good to have Ratos with us into the future. It was like that. We started with our previous owner. We started a journey that has put us in a main position in this industry. And with Ratos and KVD, we really feel that this journey can continue and that growth actually can increase at an even better pace with the synergies we have with KVD.
Anders, over to you just for a short comment. I mean, it's 6 months or something since the acquisition was communicated. Do you agree with the synergies that Lars and Jonas are describing?
Yes, I do. And it's also been nice to see that we've seen some synergies on the establishment side of things and the operation side that I guess you, Lars, can and Jonas can elaborate a little bit more on. I'm thinking about Linköping, for instance.
Obviously, we have KVD Cars have 7 centers all over Sweden, and Forsbergs has 12 centers, and Forsbergs has 7. And we are now looking where we can interact with each other. We have already decided that KVD will close down the cooperation partners in Linköping. That is actually the largest cooperation partners that KVD has had, and move that into Forsbergs premises. And that's happening this month, Jonas.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
that's a very concrete synergy of the acquisition, and I guess there is some money to save too.
Absolutely. But it also will drive a lot of sales in that area. So it's interesting, and we're also looking at other centers where we can start cooperation between the companies and so forth. So
and Jonas, back to you. Well, I mean, as Anders said initially, all the companies in the consumer area are supporting big mega trends. I mean, during the pandemic, it became very popular to buy your own mobile home. How do you see for the future? Are people going to continue to have vacations in their mobile homes?
Yes, I absolutely think so. The demands for the products has never been better. And we have reached a new customer group who have felt the freedom that the motorhome provides. And I must say, Josephine, you don't easily let go of that feeling.
I think that sounds very, very good. Well, Anders, Lars, and Jonas, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine.
So I am sitting here together with Christian Johansson Gebauer, who is the president of our business area construction and services at Ratos, and Eivind Iden, who is the CEO of Precis Infra and the newest CEO to welcome into the Ratos family. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
This is actually, it's so much fun to talk about this great acquisition which ended last year. Starting off with you, Christian, could you say a few words about your business area to start with, and then we can move on to Precis Infra?
Yes, thank you, Josephine. So the business area is basically about building and maintaining a sustainable society. And within that, we have 3 areas that we focus on. It's construction and engineering management. It's infrastructure services. And then finally, logistics services.
So, and I know that we screen a lot of companies all the time. What was special with Precis Infra? How come the company was interesting?
Yeah, we have been looking for an entrance into the infrastructure services area for a while, and when we found Precis Infra, we understood that they are leading the way in the development of that market. They have market-leading margins of about 14%, which is about double of the next competitor. And this was a very good platform and the start of our infrastructure development business.
And how do you see the future? I mean, Precis Infra is now, they have large operations in Norway. Do we foresee any synergies for the Swedish market as well? A leading question.
Yes, we are exploring several avenues for further growth together with Eivind and his team. One interesting area is an expansion to the about 10 billion SEK market in Sweden for road maintenance, where I believe a company like Precis Infra who brings like a new way of doing things into a mature market where there has been like the same players for several years. I think Precis Infra has a great opportunity to develop in that Swedish market.
And some few words also about the acquisition.
Yeah, for great companies, you will pay a higher multiple, I would say. And when we did the acquisition, we estimated the multiple to about 11 times EV/EBITDA, which is an attractive multiple. And then when we have been working through now the first month and we have identified some opportunities, we now can record about a 9-time EV/EBITDA for the full year 2021. So it's great news.
Really great news indeed. And if you look into the future, I mean, should we look upon Precis Infra as a platform acquisition, or how should we look upon it, and what do you foresee the upcoming year for Precis Infra?
Yeah, certainly it's a platform, and that's our first foothold in the infrastructure service business. We should expect Ratos to further develop the presence in the infrastructure area, I would say, and we should also look at Precis Infra as a platform, which means we will have organic as well as M&A-driven, acquisition-driven growth. So Swedish market is one opportunity. There are also other exciting opportunities that I hope we can come back to.
We will certainly. Thank you so much, Christian. Looking at you now, Eivind, welcome starting off to the Ratos family. As I said, you are the new CEO to join us. And to start with a sport question, I mean, we're halfway through the Olympics. How does it feel?
Probably feels better than the Swedes felt yesterday. No, it's very good to be a new member in the Ratos family. We have actually already collaborated quite a lot, I think, and have gotten to know each other quite well. It has been very nice so far. That my experience is that we think very alike about strategy and also about how we want to develop the company and our future goals. So it has been a very good month.
That's great to hear, of course, for us at Ratos. Is there anything specific in the everyday operations that you can point out that reminds you that you're part of Ratos nowadays?
Yeah, actually, we have a lot of offers these days, and when we do that job, we collaborate a lot with Christian and other people in the Ratos teams. So yes.
And you were actually, before the acquisition, you were a co-owner of Precis Infra, but after the acquisition, also your management team had the opportunity to be co-owners of Precis Infra. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, the strategy in Precis Infra is very simple. If we have the most motivated and best people in the industry, we will also be the best company in the industry. That's how we think. It's all about people, and that we work every day to fulfill this goal. And when the right people also become co-owners, I think that's a combination which is unbeatable. So in my view, this is a win-win situation for the company and for Ratos.
Okay, and last but definitely not least, what do you foresee for the future coming up this year, 2022, and if you look a bit longer ahead in the future as well?
I think Christian was saying something about it, but and I think very much similar. I see, what can I say? I see Ratos as an flexible, pragmatic company with a focus on operational work and kind of work who creates actual value for the business. I think keeping and holding on that kind of culture, we will be very konkurrensdyktig. Sorry. Competitive.
Yeah.
And we will do some. We will win new offers and we will grow organically. At the same time, we have a lot of expertise and competence in Ratos, which will help us to do the right M&As, so we also can grow in that area. And in the end, we are very hungry for getting up a company in Sweden. Yeah.
That's really great music in our ears, Christian, right?
Yeah, certainly. And one thing, Josephine, that we didn't talk about is the good thing with Precis Infra is also that it's kind of contracyclical to Plantasjen. So by doing the Precis Infra acquisition, we have a more kind of over the years stable income and revenue across the Ratos Group. So that was not of course the major focus of the Precis, but it's a very good so to say outcome in the end.
Yeah, value added on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Christian Johansson Gebauer and Eivind Idren, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
So now it's time to wrap up this episode. We are so happy that you have been with us today. And as always, we would really like to know what you think. Do you have any ideas about what we should talk about in Ratos Group News going forward? Feel free to drop us an email. Until we see each other again, take care and goodbye.